Hi, hello, and welcome back to the What is K-pop podcast, where in which we talk all things K-pop, woo, kind of K-pop today. That was my cat. Petal is in here with us right now. I've got quite love the windows and the conservatory open right now because it's been a bit of a weird weatherish day. Like it's annoying. It's like ever so slightly cold enough to not wear a dress, but you feel then too warm to wear trousers. But then, like, I don't want to take them off, you know? So that's kind of where we're at today. And I wanted to talk about Dear Alice and basically the what people like to call NCT Essex or NCT UK, that sort of stuff. And there was a video by Chu Jimmy, who unfortunately has just like stopped posting recently, and I'm like, no, please post again. He called them NCT Essex, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. And I remember it was so funny actually when I first heard about them, and I obviously because I'm from England, I felt like I had kind of more of a oh no, has he completely gotten rid of his channel? No, he hasn't. Sorry. That like I'm kind of more able to talk about them from like a British perspective and it being a bit more I don't know. I thought that I was kind of more able to talk about them. Some people didn't actually realize. I don't know if some people didn't realize that I'm British, but I am. But I mean, I did it on all K-pop, and it's just kind of funny. If you don't know, they debuted technically on the 21st of February 2025 with their single album Ariana. They haven't actually released anything musically since June of last year, so nearly a year ago. And like I have been on a mission to find out information for everyone. They kind of did a bit of a tour, I guess. Like I'm watching the UK Tour Diary 2025 on their channel and they did do some stuff in like November. I don't actually know if people realise this, but like hiatus, I'm using air quotes, hiatuses like this are kind of common in like the Western, like in this sort of music, like Western music, I guess. Like, I don't think of any group who releases music, and I don't know of any artist who releases music at the same cadence as K pop does. And that's, it's by design. It's like, it isn't meant to overwhelm you. Like, I want to use One Direction for an example. So their first album, it was definitely their first album release. Yeah, their first album release was on the 18th of November 2011 with like this is their debut essentially and it contained if I can go down. It contained, oh my god, it had so many versions. 13 as like the standard basic bitch. And it had like bonus tracks, Australian, Mexican, Philippine, and New Zealand souvenir editions and Japanese edition, an alternative track for the American edition, Italian special, god, and a German edition and they wouldn't technically release any more music until the next album released another year later, Take Me Home on the 9th of November 2012. And like, yeah, singles were released, but it wasn't up until September, 9 months after Up All Night. And that would have a lot more song. It would have like a good amount of songs. 13 on like the regular edition, I guess. Then 5 more tracks are the Target edition bonus tracks. Then another 4 like this is one like the additional adding on to like the 13 that you got just with the what I mean. And then like 4 for the yearbook limited edition like iTunes Store bonus tracks, Japanese limited yearbook edition and 2022 digital expanded edition tracks. Like you got a lot, but it took them a year to make it. And then again, literally another year later, Midnight Memories would come out. It's a yearly thing. Well, One Direction were very rare. They were kind of the like they were. I can't do words. I'm trying to do the words right now. Let's do the words. It was not common that this happened so frequently. Like Midnight Memories, 14 songs on just the standard. The Ultimate Edition had 18. The Japanese edition had like the 18 and 3 extra. Like they had a lot of music. And it's like I understand when people say like, "Oh, we've not seen Dear Alice in a long time." Yeah, because we've gotten like as K-pop fans and like people who are know about Dear Alice are going to be people who know about K-pop because they came from SM. And I guess like maybe some English people, if they decided to watch the Dear Alice documentary and was like, "Oh, I'll check them out," or like got their kids to check them out, like, but to be fair, they might have been turned off by the like some of the K-pop elements of it, like yeah, this is gonna happen. It's unfortunate that we kind of have to say it, but like this is pretty common for groups of like in this style to have long breaks in between releases. We just think it's weird because of K-pop being the way that it is. But and I have been searching. They've not it's weird, like they've Dear Alice on their social media have been posting about them releasing new songs soon, and it's been a lot of TikToks, which I have been watching, and I am following them now because of them, just to like make sure when like to no, I like the sound of the songs. I just wanted to. They have like pre-save, so I went on to all like the certain like the common music sites, but I couldn't find it. Sorry. Just Boom Pillar by La Seraphim. Oops. Please don't take down my video, Hype. Yeah, is it? Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to put in my email to give them for me to subscribe to whatever it is that they're trying to peddle. Just the music, don't worry. But yeah, it isn't weird. This isn't weird. Yeah, like even One Direction's last studio album was released. Oh wait, no, it wasn't. Sorry, the last one with Zayn. It wasn't until November again. Made in the AM. Yeah, November. Like it isn't weird. Even so, we're just gonna go on to like the other, like the actual members of One Direction. Sorry, I just got a wee bit nervous. I had to look away from a minute. So Liam Payne, who unfortunately passed away in 2024, he only released one studio album, and did he release like EPs? I don't actually know. I didn't keep up with them post. Yeah, so Liam, he released an EP on the 24th of August 2018. This was like a year, 2 years? Year and a bit, I don't know. At least 2 years, I think, after One Direction had disbanded, had gone separate ways. And then it wouldn't be a year and a half until his first album came out. And then it was only 10 months until his last, like, I guess, last musical release, maybe? No, it wasn't. Okay. From whatever. I'm starting to realise how much I don't actually know. And then he released, like, a single. Yeah, so then he took like 3 years in between Sunshine, which was one of the singles, and then oh no, sorry, this was a OST, I guess, for a film, and then Teardrops came, and then he died. Yeah, so they took time. people do tend to take time in the Western world to make music, and it's fine. And I understand that it's different. It's very different. I kind of like how they take their time, but it does also mean that we don't get as much music. Even like another member saying he has released a couple of albums. Yeah, so Mind of Mine. This is his first project. Again, singles came out before it, 2 months before the actual EP, and it was a few months after. I think it was about 9 months after he left One Direction, and he had released Wrong until in the June, a music video, and then it wasn't until November, December 2018, 3 years later, 2 years later, sorry, 2 and a bit years later, with nobody's listening, and then 3 years for Room Under the Stairs, and then almost 2 years before Conical. I don't know. I think that is what it is called. Like, it isn't weird. We've gotten so used to K-pop releasing songs frequently, but the way that DearALICE might have been structured, it sounds to me that James, who is the leader and the eldest member, who's also autistic, he makes the music, I guess, maybe for the members. And so, because he might be the only one that's making the music, they can only do so much music, you know? To me, it makes sense, but I understand why some people might be confused about it, since it's very different to what we're used to. I can also just say that I absolutely love the songs they did in for Made in Korea, the K-pop experience, which was like the show that like introduced us to them. I don't know. I've not listened to Bittersweet Summer, and I actually want to buy that album. How much is on HMV? Just in case. Like, it's a just in case type of thing. But I'm not worried about it, considering the fact that I've seen stuff from them as of recently. Like for example with Meow, they didn't release anything from it was a while from Burning Up, which was their digital single, up until they're now to the EP now. Like it was 9 months. That is worrying. But that's because of the fact that it was like May until October. Like May was their EP, October was the digital single, and then so they had their debut in September of 2024. Toxic and Body was in November. Then it wasn't until I think April with Hands Up, and then May was the rest of the EP. I'm trying to remember, and then it was October. So it makes sense to be a little bit more concerned when it is literally they are a K-pop group. But Dear Alice, it might just be that they work slightly slower, and that's just kind of the release cadence that we're going to see. Again, I'm always gonna say I'm not gonna be. It's £5. Jesus Christ! I'm not gonna be worried. Considering that I know music is coming, I'm not concerned. I understand though that people are, and if that's you, then please do note that they are going to come back soon. We just don't know kind of when just quite yet. It will probably be in the next couple of months that they're gonna come out. If I buy it, is it actually gonna be like a physical CD? Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? Is this the same price on Amazon as it is on H? Do they have a photo card in there? So it would just be really funny. This is like really funny to me. That I actually have like a picture of my sister when she was at uni for the first time in my bedroom, just on my bedroom door. She fully knows that. She's told me multiple times that she's like, "Why do? It's so weird that you have a picture of me on your bedroom door." I'm like, I find that picture hilarious, my dear sister. So that's why I have it on there. It would be extremely funny to just have a photo card of like British boys, wannabe roadmen. Yeah, when I said that actually about them on the all K-pop thing, they were like, "Oh my god, you're being really disrespectful," or like something to that effect. And I'm like, I get it. I found it. Found it. Is that the original comment? Because if it, oh, it is, yeah. So I put, wait, I'm just gonna have to have a look see again. Yeah, so people put like, oh, I think you're just being y'all, like generally y'all are just being discreetly racist without realizing it the same way. Why should there be mandatory? Why should there mandatorily be a black slash white person in a K-pop group? Why should there be an Asian one in a British group that will be mainly targeting mainly target the UK? This is not a cultural musical appropriation, nor is it K-pop. The group is not K-pop. It will never be K-pop. Like K-pop did not invent singing or dancing or boy groups or fandoms. The most they did, what might do, is US is guest on music shows the same way. This person's comment is giving me a stroke. It's confusing me. But yeah, so I wrote comment was, it's because they look like Ronnie Roadmen who would chuck a bottle of Prime at you if you looked at them the wrong way. These visuals are very common in England or really Britain as a whole. It's true. You know, I'm not criticizing their music. I do think their songs are good. I was just generally just putting it out there that a K-pop group in like with British people, for me personally would never work because of X reasons. They look like wannabe roadman that would chuck a bottle of Prime at you if you looked at them wrong. And the term wannabe roadmen is oh dear god, I'm gonna have to explain the dichotomy of British school the British school system. So in England, I don't know so much now because I've been out of school for nearly 5 years. Like I've not been back to my old school in 5 years, and I technically left school. I left year 11 7 years ago. Ugh. Um, but back then there was the trend of wearing a big puffer coat, preferably like North Face or like Adidas or like some branded coat, right? And you would either have like a branded sports bag, like a rucksack, or you would have, or like maybe a JD Williams, JD sports bag. Sometimes it would be like over the top, like you would throw it over the top of your bag and like have the double bag on you, or maybe like a over the shoulder, but no, maybe not actually, to be fair. And then like the hood would be up. You would have like a Lucasade sports bottle the either the orange, like the orange, like just regular bottles, or they would have like those squeezy bottles, the sport bottle, just the regular ones. Nowadays, I think it would probably have been Prime, and now going back to like energy drinks. And like a can of Red Bull or something of that to that effect, or even like the drinks you get from the cafeteria or the canteen as we would call it. We had a canteen. And they would sit on like the sports field during lunchtime. And if you went near them, they would probably chuck a football at you and then they would laugh. At least that's what happened to me. One of them would have their blazer off and it would just be strewn somewhere. One of them most definitely has their top, like all of them probably have their top button undone because no one wanted to look fancy. They definitely had their trainers on. They just looked like, oh, and they would also be vaping nowadays too, or just blatantly smoking cigarettes. And like even my cousins, my younger cousins, who I believe they're 18 now, one of them actually got caught selling vapes a few years ago. Oh yeah. So that was interesting. Granted, like they live in a bigger city than I do. I live in a small town, they live in a big city. So I'm not criticizing their looks to say like a group like that needs to be Asian. Or like I don't personally think it's in the same way as most people are like criticizing them. It's more because I genuinely know what these people look like. What I'm comparing them to is what they genuinely look like. Even my sister, like, and my dad have said they look like the rough kids at school that like me and your mum and your and our parents would tell you to not look at because they would beat you up. That's kind of I think where we're missing the mark. I don't know, like some people might be like, oh, they don't look Asian, they shouldn't be in K-pop. And it's like, well, yeah, they're not Asian and they're not in K-pop. They are K-pop-ish. They are a global, I guess they are a British group who happen to use, I guess, a little bit of the K-pop methodology. Like, they aren't claiming they're K-pop. They are a group made by a K-pop agency, but I don't think they've ever directly said that they are a K-pop group made by the K-pop methodology. They're just saying that they're a British boy group. And yeah, some people apparently think I'm racist, and I'm like, sure, mate, fine, whatever, I don't care. But at the end of the day, when you've grown up in it and you can identify it and you can say like, oh, these people look like this, you can't really then go around saying that, oh, you're being racist when I'm not really. No. I don't know, am I? Probably. Yeah. I would I would like to listen to the Bittersweet Summer EP. I might just buy it. Because it'll arrive on Thursday as well. Be a bit of fun. Could add to the collection. Why not? Got lots of albums anyway. I actually counted them one time and it was like 56. Anyway, thank you as always for listening and I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.